Tell me what you're doing here tonight, sir. What's the purpose, I guess?
I'm a resident of Port Hope. I'm speaking out on the defense of the Penryn forests against a further suburbanite-type residential development that will take that forest down, and it must be stopped.
What are the consequences of this?
The consequences are that we lose a vital resource, not only to the heritage of our community, but to the fight against climate change. Every small community in Canada is being encouraged to mobilize against climate change. Trees are an important asset to that. And no longer can we say tree huggers are a bad person. We've got to be the tree huggers going forward, and that's why I'm here.
What do you hope this will accomplish?
It'll stop the destruction of those tree lands on Victoria and streaming over toward the golf course. It'll make a point to the developers that we are not here simply to accommodate them. And thirdly, it'll set the stage for a review of the official plan of Port Hope that will take into account the environment as an economic and social asset, not as an obstacle for developers to try to get around.
You've got a lot of spunk in your fight. Is there a lot of support with the community?
I believe so. Mayor Sanderson himself has said that he has no expectation but to save the tree lands. And you're going to look at a crowd here tonight that's ready, willing, and able to take up the fight. And I think this town has been not well led over the years in dealing with developers who put their interests, naturally enough, in the forefront. The town has not had the capacity to push back. Now we do.
Going forward, is this, will tonight be the decision?
No. Council will not be taking any decisions tonight, pro or con. That'll come probably in about 2 months.
So basically, they're here to listen tonight?
They're here to listen, and they're going to get an earful.
Mark, tell me about what you're doing here tonight.
Well, I'm in Port Hope tonight to support the people who want to put a stop to this crazy idea of cutting down over 8 acre woodlot, the south end of Victoria Street.
Why is it important?
This is important because we know now. We know because science tells us, we have quantifiable evidence that we need trees, and we need trees that are among other trees. They're called forests. We absolutely need them to preserve our air, to purify our water, and we need them for social reasons. We need them for economic reasons. It's not just the environment, but it's very much the environment. So whatever the proposition here is to plant a bunch of townhouses where trees currently exist makes absolutely no sense. And I don't live here, but I'm well invested here because of the Highway of Heroes tree campaign. And you know what? All of our work on the highway, at least here in Port Hope, is pretty much negated. All the benefits are negated if they cut down these trees, because our trees are going to take 30 years before they begin to provide some environmental service. Your trees, the trees here in Port Hope, in this woodlands, is already providing every day incredible environmental service.
You know this area because of the tournaments you had.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about this. You're, I don't know whether I can use the word well aware, but you're aware of this area and you're aware of the significance of it.
Well, I've spent some time here in Port Hope speaking to veterans, speaking to Rotary, speaking to council on a variety of occasions, all connected with the Highway of Heroes, of course. We have our annual golf tournament where we raised over $100,000 last summer at the Port Hope Golf and Country Club, the very property that's owned by the people who want to cut down the trees that are adjoining the golf club. So yes, I am familiar with it. Familiar to the extent that I've walked through it, I've driven through it, I've golfed around it, and I've always admired it. What you have here is an ecological treasure. It's a heritage treasure. Why would you cut it down?